Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann, and March is a bit crazy on BookTube. Nobody warned me when I started my channel to I should have planned ahead for months for March, I think. So today I just wanted to talk about things that I'm really hoping to get to in March for various readathons and book clubs and buddy reads. And then I think after March, I'm gonna try to take a break from starting new things and try to catch up on all the things that I've already started, because I will not finish all of these books in March. And I also have leftover books from my February TBR that I still really want to get to sooner rather than later. But this is more like I guess a pile of possibilities is what a lot of other people call it. But I'm excited about my pile, so I'm going to share it. So I'm going to start with some of the big readathons that are going on. So of course, March of the Mammoths. And I will be just kind of nominally doing this in March. So I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo, which definitely fulfills the March of the Mammoths requirements. This is a 1,400-page book in my edition. And I'm actually reading this with several different groups of people. So I'm reading it with a group of people organized by Summer over at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. And then I'm also reading it as part of a group read with Megan at Megan's Reading Revelations, organized through her Discord. I think those might be the two groups that I'm reading this with. So I'm very excited to read this. I've owned this book forever and have always had it recommended to me as just like a great enjoyable classic. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm a little bit into it. And it's just very plot driven, and so it's going very quickly, and I'm enjoying the story and the little bit of a reminder of the history of the Napoleonic wars and kind of post-Napoleon era in France, which is where the story takes place. So that's fun. And then there's also March Mystery Madness, which is hosted by a whole bunch of people. So I'm not really doing that, but I do enjoy mysteries. And so I wanted to kind of just use it as a chance to read a mystery that's been sitting on my shelf for a while, but not have mysteries take over my month. So I'm just going to try to read Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James, which is a book my grandmother gave me a couple years ago that I haven't read yet. It's got the Jane Austen tie-in, which I'm very excited about, and I've never read P.D. James, but I really respect my grandma's taste. She was an avid mystery writer and really knew the genre very, very well. So I think she had been not as excited about this particular book, but the P.D. James was an author I really need to try. So I'm excited to give her a try with this one. And then I will also be doing some books for March of the Moderns, I hope, which I think is organized by Margaret Pinard. I think she's the one who came up with it. So I'll link to her channel below, and this is a new readathon. And this is the one that I'm kind of most interested in trying to really read multiple books for, and hopefully bingo, because Margaret made a bingo board, and I am a sucker for a cute bingo board. And I think there's even a prize drawing for, of a random person of folks who complete a bingo. So head on over to Margaret's channel if you're interested. But the idea with March of the Moderns is to read books from the period of 1901 to 1945. I think I'm remembering that period correctly, which is an area that, of course, there was, a huge amount of writing being produced then, but I actually haven't read that much of it. And I have some on my shelves, and so I was really excited for that challenge. So the bingo that I'm hoping to achieve for this is 4 categories. So a BIPOC author. So I've chosen a novel by Langston Hughes. This is Not Without Laughter, which has been on my bookshelf for a while, so I really want to read it. I do enjoy Hughes, his poetry at any rate, but I haven't read any of his novels, so I'm really excited about this. Then I want to read a translated work. This is War with the Newts. Oh, and maybe I should say when these were published. Well, that would involve flipping through my books. Let's see if I can do this quickly, because I did look it up earlier. Okay, so Not Without Laughter was published in 1930, so within that time frame. Then War with the Newts, I was just about to talk about, by Karel Capek. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. This is a Czech author, so it's translated from the Czech language. And this was first published in 1937, the English translation. The book in Czech was first published in 1936. So within that time frame. And I'm really interested in this because I studied abroad in Poland in college. And so as part of that experience, I had a good overview of Polish history, especially Polish history in the 20th century, and the first half of the 20th century, when a lot was happening in that part of the world. And of course, the Czech experience has a lot of similarities with that. So I actually don't know anything about this book, if it's even set in that time period, but at least was written in that time period. And the literature produced by a country that's going through a lot of upheaval and strife is going to reflect that, even if the book is probably set in a different time. I don't know. So anyway, I'm excited to dive into this. It'll tap into some of that nostalgia about my study abroad time and learning that I did then. And then a work of nonfiction. So I want to read 20 Years at Hull House by Jane Addams, which was just an absolute classic, and I expect it to be kind of depressing, especially how some things haven't changed since she was writing this, which I believe was, what, 1910? Yeah, 1910. So this will be a learning read. And then a book that I have on my Kindle by E.M. Forster is for an LGBTQ plus character-centered narrative. So I want to read Maurice by Forster, which, oh gosh, and I'm not going to look up when it was published, but it was like 1914 or sometime around there. But I'm particularly excited about that one. This is going to be a teeny slight spoiler, so skip ahead 30 seconds if you want to know nothing about this book. Yeah, so I'm excited about it because the main character is gay, and while there are some trials and tribulations, I think I'm told that the character has a happy ending, which is not super common in literature focused on LGBTQ plus characters, and I think is especially wonderful that it was written kind of that early when things were even worse than they are now. So I'm excited about that. So those are my March of the Moderns picks. Then I am still participating in the Book Naturalists book club hosted by Heidi over at My Reading Life and Doris at Aldi Books, but I'm a bit behind. So I'm almost halfway through with the February pick, The Home Place by J. Drew Lanham. And so far where I am in the book, it's just a lovely, beautifully written account of his childhood growing up on a farm in rural South Carolina, and who his parents were and who his siblings were, and the work ethic and love of learning and education that his family instilled in him, and how that, you know, really influenced his development, taken into account with his ability to just romp and explore through 200 acres of rural South Carolina. So I'm really, really loving this, and I just started it because I'm behind, but I will definitely finish it soon. And I'm planning to move on to the March pick for this book club, which is Ecology of a Cracker Childhood. So I'll put a photo of that here as well. And then I am also participating in Scott and Nell's Read Under the Bed book club, and I really liked the first pick in that book club, which was The Death of Vivek Oji, which I talked about in my previous video, my February wrap-up. So I'm excited to move on to the next pick, which is On Black Sisters Street. And this is about 4 immigrant women, I think, from Africa who immigrated to Europe and are now working in the red light district in Antwerp. So I don't know anything more about it than that, but I trust Scott and Nell's taste, and I'm really excited to see where this book goes. So if you're interested in reading this or just checking out that book club, I'm going to link to their announcement video in the description box below. And then the final book I'm going to talk about, I'm reading for a virtual book club with some friends of mine from back when I lived in DC, and our pick for our next book is A Good Provider is One Who Leaves, One Family and Migration in the 21st Century, and this is by Jason deParle. And so the book focuses on one family from Manila. They're a poor family, and I think like several decades of what happens in this family. And as the kind of subtitle gives it away, One Family's Story of Migration, it's about kind of that universal experience of some people from the family leaving to try to find a better life, especially economically, and what that does to the family, what that experience is. And so I think good providers, one who leaves, I think we're going to be dealing with, people who are separated for very long times. And what that does to the family. So I've heard really good things about this. I think it's kind of like a reporting, like that sort of narrative, more like journalistic maybe. So I'm definitely looking forward to this and to discussing it with my book club. So those are the things that I've committed to at least trying to read and start in March in cooperation with all of these other people. So if you've read any of these books, please let me know what you think, if you think I'll like them, what to look out for, etc., etc. And I'd love to hear more about what everyone else is reading for March, especially if you're involved in some of the same readathons. It should be an exciting and busy month. So happy reading, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye.